Greeting everyone. The objective of this tutorial is to show you how we can use an array and a pointer to. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to be creating an array and we're going to be using a pointer to point to the arrays and then retrieve its data. Having said that, let's go ahead and start. We're going to create a new project. And we're going to be using Windows 32 console application, and we click next, empty project, and I'm using Visual Studio 2012. Of course, this also can be done with any other Visual Studio version. The next step is we're going to go back here in the Solution Explorer. Under source file, we're going to say add new item. Then we're going to use the C++ file. And here you can change the file name if you wish. In this case, I'm going to leave it as it is. Add. All right. So now the first thing, we have an area where we can have actually our editor, so we can type our code. The first thing is I'm going to go include my standard library, IOStream. Close. Next, I'm going to be using standard cout, using standard line. And I'm going to be using a constant, and I'm going to make this as an integer, and I'm going to call this max and give it a value of 6, for example. And now we're going to do another colon here since it's complaining for standard out. All right, so the reason I'm using a constant max equals 6 as type int is because in an array, if I would like to increase or decrease the number of cells, it's on one area that I can go in and change it. And that makes the coding process easier and manageable. The next step is I'm going to go ahead and create my main function and open bracket. And I'm going to declare my array. I'm going to call it var, for instance. In this case, I'll be using max. So in this case, my array is going to have a 6 cells. And I'm going to initialize it with a value. So I'm going to enter any integer value. I'm going to start with 200, 100, 200, 3, 400, 500, or 600. You can initialize it with any value as you wish based on your need. Next, I'm going to be creating a pointer, and the pointer, you have the asterisk, and then you can name it anything you want, but it's always a good idea to start with P, which basically indicates a pointer. And again, I'm going to make it a max, so it's a pointer of type array. Next, I need to populate. So what I need to do is I need to populate, assign the value of arrays to the pointer. So this way the pointers will be pointing to the address of the array. So in this case, I'll be starting x, my variable, and x equals 0, x less than 6, x plus plus. Open bracket, and the pointer, we're going to be using x, which is actually will be changing the value. Going to start at 0 and going to go all the way to 5. Remember, the arrays are always, if it's 6, it's -1, so it's 5 because it starts at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the max 6 means it has, you're assigning 6 cells. Then what I need to do is I need to assign to the address of the array. So in this case, it's going to be X. So basically, here we are writing a for loop statement. Going to start at 0, then it's going to be 0, and it's going to point to the address of array 0. So then basically the pointer array will be keeping track of the addresses of the array. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to create another for loop. We're going to call it int. I'm going to use y0, y max less than max, and then y plus plus. So there's a typo. This is nice about EDI, ID, and the Visual Studio 2013 or any other version that tells you right away what the problem is with the rate mark. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to print the result. So I'm going to say cout. I'm going to say, let's see, let's print value of the array. Okay. Or is all right. So now we have a standard output, which is gonna go iterate through the loop, for loop statement, and also gonna print the value of y. All right. Then we're gonna print also the value of the address. We're pointing to the address of the array, which in this case we're going to be using the pointer statement to show us print the result of the array. So in this case we have pointer p, which we already declared here, and y being our counter starting at 0, which will be pointing to the address of the array and retrieving the cell value and printing it on the screen. So now we're going to close the loop here, and I'm going to put an end of the F4 loop. It's always a good idea to put a comment for troubleshooting purposes. Now let's put another bracket. We're going to put comment here which says, I'm going to say end of the main function. Right. All right. So we're done. We completed writing our sample code. And again, the purpose of this is to demonstrate how we can use array and pointer together to, to print the result of an array. So in this case, this is a very important thing, constant int max 6. So here, if I need to change anything, I can put any. If I make it 10, everything automatically will be propagated through the code. And then now only thing I have to do here is to add additional values to initialize it. So this makes it very easier for arrays. So it's a good practice to use that. So in this case, we have our main function, and we initialize it with values, and we create a pointer of that array, and then we're gonna create a for loop that goes through and populates the pointer array to the address and points it to the address of the array. right? And then we use this for loop statement to print the result. Okay, having said that, now let's go ahead and do Control F5, see what this code generates. As you can see, it's compiling it. Control F5, here we go. The result was printed very fast, so that's not good. So let's go put another statement here, which is system pause, which is going to pause the screen for us. So let's try it again. Alt F5. All right, so as you can see, it prints the array, starts 0, 1, 2, 3. It assigns 6 cells in its content. So we initialize 100, 200, 300, 400, so on and so forth, and basically it printed the result. So this demo kind of demonstrates a sample program, but shows you the basics how one can use arrays and pointers to combine these two techniques to print the result of an array. So this can be used for other assignments, and kind of you can apply it to other projects or assignments. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Thank you.